What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for the Champions League previews. It is Monaco against Tottenham. It is Tottenham's third Champions League game of the group phase. After beating Villarreal, drawing with Bodo Glimt, it is time for our second away game against Monaco at the Stade Louis II stadium. We got here with Brian Daigle. How are we doing, bro?
We are doing good, brother. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm not bad, mate. I am not bad. Always exciting times when the Champions League comes around once again. And look, and it's an important game. You know, after the disappointing performance out in Bodo Glimt, I think it's, we need to put things right out in Monaco. It's a team where we don't have the best record against. I think the last time we came up against them in the Champions League group phase, we lost to them both times, home and away, I believe. And I think I was at the away game, and when I was at the away game, I was in the pub with the Spurs fans before the game, and I was inside the pub and I look outside and I see Novak Djokovic just walking past the pub. I was like, as you do on a Spurs away, they just see Novak Djokovic just walking past the pub. I was going to get into the predicted lineup first, but as it's such a nice start, I thought we would just carry on with the match preview. Because,
let's do it.
Monaco are a really good side, man. Monaco, in terms of how they're doing in their league, they haven't started the league too well, sitting 7th in the French league with 14 points. And we're sitting 6th, I think, in the Premier League with 14 points. So exactly the same points tally from Monaco and Spurs going into this game. Unfortunately, it would have been an Eric Dyer derby, but Eric Dyer's picked up an injury, so we won't be able to see him once again. But who we will see, and who I'm sure the away travelling fans will give a very hard time to, is Florian Balogun, who's probably going to be playing up front for Monaco. Everyone saw the Monaco-Man City game in the last group phase game. You know, 2-2. Monaco played really well. Eric Dyer scoring a penalty in the death, winning a penalty as well, which shows, you know, going to that stadium, you need to be on your A game if you're going to pick up 3 points.
Yeah, it's a unique stadium as well, isn't it? It's a wonderful part of the world. Champions League is always exciting to be in, and like you said, they've got some troubling players. We don't have the best record with them home or away. You mentioned about their points in the in Ligue 1. How did they do in their other game in the Champions League? Are they the same points as us Champions League wise?
So they lost in their first game, 4-1 to Club Brugge. Okay,
so it's a really important game. It's a quick turnaround to try and dust the cobwebs away from Sunday's performance. And let's hope they put in a performance to make us proud.
Yeah. You know, we've got a few selection headaches, which we'll get into the predicted lineup a bit later. But in terms of obviously Matisse Tel can't play. He's been our starting number 9 over the past couple of weeks. Romero's a big doubt going into it. You've got Destiny Udogie, who's likely to be out for it. So it's going to be very difficult. I think Moani, from what he showed in the 10 minutes coming on in the game on the weekend, doesn't seem like he's ready or fit enough to play. So you do imagine probably Richarlison leads the line for us once again. It's going to be interesting to see how Spurs combat this, because the way Monaco have been playing is a back 3 system. Obviously, Eric Dyer has been at the heart of that in the middle of a back 3. So with Eric Dyer being out, does that make them change formation? Do they have someone else to slot straight in there? Are you worried coming up against Monaco tomorrow?
Joey, you say about them being a back 3, and will they change? Will Thomas Frank say, what I've been trying hasn't working, and he'll try something new? I think if you look at the team and when we do the lineup, I think it's fairly obvious the goalkeepers will be Vicario, and up front it's going to be Richarlison to start. And they're 2 players that need to have a very, very good game, aren't they? They're obviously, Vicario's come under the cosh a bit. Richarlison, the goals are kind of dried up. What formation does Spurs play if they do go to a back 3? Does he try 2 up top and go 3-5-2? There are so many questions for this game. Am I worried about it? With our track record, Monaco in head-to-heads, you could say a little bit, but I've got my faith and confidence in Thomas Frank to get the job done, and it will be a great confidence booster going into a very big week for us domestically, if we can get the 3 points there tomorrow.
Yeah, last time out in the Champions League in our first away game against Bodo, you know, we rested Palhinha, we rested Kudus. Do you see Thomas Frank doing something similar? Do you think we will rest players for this game? Like, surely we can't rest Kudus, because we just saw, like, even in that Bodo game, right, without Kudus, we've got little to no attacking threat.
Well, he rested Simmons as well, didn't he? So I can't. Could he rest one? Possibly. Should he rest any of them? Either of them? I don't think so. I think it would be good to get them both on and hopefully try and get the game wrapped up. Let's say we get hopefully 3-0 ahead, and then go, right, you two can come off, or one of you. Excuse me. But I think we saw the difference with Bodo, that when Xavi and Kudus came on, that creativity that was so sparse to begin with instantly picked up. And we're going to need that tomorrow.
Yeah, we are going to need it. And, like, when you're looking at the midfield options, like, I don't know, like, in this game, these are the kind of games where I don't mind seeing Palhinha and Bentancur alongside each other, but because he's persisted with them at home and, like, much to our kind of frustration, keep Palhinha, Bentancur at home, Palhinha, Bentancur at home, where we're saying mistake after mistake. In the away game, in the Champions League, we didn't go for Palhinha and Bentancur at home away. We went for Sarr and Bentancur with Bergvall more further forward in the 10. I would prefer him for go Palhinha and Bentancur in this game, and then at home against Chelsea on the weekend, maybe go for Palhinha and a Sarr.
Well, remember, we've got Everton away Sunday.
Oh, sorry, Everton away. Yeah, so that
Chelsea's the week after, after Newcastle. But no, you look at it, like you said, what we've got to remember is as well, Premier League-wise, when we play away, we're top of the league in form. So it's working away, but obviously it's definitely not working at home. And I think I wouldn't mind it if we have Kudus and Simmons playing, because then you have got the creative. If both of them aren't playing and he does it, then you're lacking one creativity, or maybe the two. And I'd be against that. But I don't know how you feel, but I think Thomas Frank has now got to start experimenting at what is that right midfield two. Because for me, Palhinha is the number one out, Palhinha and Bentancur. I think Palhinha, like I was saying to you earlier, he reminds me, he's so elite in that position. He's kind of like with Ledley King when he played against the Dawson or whoever. He will just elevate that person next to him. And I think we saw against Villa the lack of forward passing to get the Simmons on the ball. I think Sarr or Bergvall and their movement and energy and drive could free Xavi Simmons. And we need to find a way to get his mojo going. And Thomas Frank needs to find the answer to this midfield conundrum, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He really does. And you look at this Monaco side, they got a couple of players in that team that, you know, Spurs have been heavily linked with in the past. Magnus Akilush, obviously their danger man, and Spurs heavily linked with him. And in the summer, he was even asked about it in the press conference, saying, you know, what were your thoughts about being linked to Spurs? And, you know, he just gave the classic kind of, yeah, it's always a proud moment and something big to be linked with Tottenham Hotspur. But yeah, he's that danger man that you really need to look out for. And he plays on the right wing, so he should be coming up against Jed Spence. That will probably be playing at left back. Hopefully another one added to that Jed Spence penitentiary. Yeah. I'll be more worried if he was on the other side coming up against Pedro Porro, because we saw what happened in that Bodo game where that Haug guy was on the left wing and Pedro Porro just got taken to the cleaners in that game.
Yep, he did. And I couldn't believe it when you started to say we've been heavily linked with a couple of players from a team. When aren't we? But obviously... Alikush, is that how you pronounce it right?
Akliush.
Akliush, okay, excuse me. But he looked like a very, very, very key target for Spurs to try and get in it, according to all the rumours. And he does look like a very dangerous player. And like you said, Jed Spence, with his one-on-one defensive capabilities, you would hope that he'd have him on lockdown. And like you said, it will be another one going into the penitentiary. As Jed says, there's going to be some fascinating head-to-heads in this game, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's quite interesting because I'm seeing the way Monaco kind of line up majority of the time. So they sometimes play with three at the back, but since Dyer's out, they've actually gone for a four at the back.
Okay.
Maybe they tailor-make it to opposition instead of whether it's Dyer in or out, because they have played a back four with Eric Dyer at the back as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how much they actually rate us. Are they going to go four at the back against us, or do you think they'll go similar to what they did against Man City? They did it against Nice in the French league as well. No, they went for back four against Nice. So for the majority of games, it looks like they are going for a back four instead of a back three. But then against Man City, they switched it up to a back three. Against Club Brugge, when they lost 4-1, it was a back four. But they found joy when they played Man City in that back three. So I do fully expect them to go for a back three potentially.
Yeah, I mean, also let's face it, when they went to a back three, when you've got Haaland to mark, you'd like to go to a back 5 or 6, wouldn't you, just to keep him quiet? Does Richarlison worry Monaco that much to say, right, we need to go to a back 3? Does Simmons or on running midfielders do that? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm actually just looking. It's actually they had a change in manager. That's why they've changed his formation.
Oh, there you go. That'll do it.
So it looks like they are probably going to play a back four then.
Okay, so there you go.
So if they play a back four, then hopefully that will play into our hands a bit more, because I feel like if we are going to come up against a back three, we're struggling so hard to create chances at the best of times. So if they have an extra man at the back there, it could cause a bit of problems for us.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one. It really does. Let's just hope they're going back four.
Another player that who was the other player that we've been heavily linked with as well from Vanderson at right wing back or right back? He plays for Monaco as well, and he's been obviously starting a lot. He's a player that's very much impressed me in the past. Haven't seen much of him probably in the last year or so, but you just know it's just written in the stars that these guys that we're heavily linked with come and haunt us, don't they?
There is a funny way of that happening, but let's just hope tomorrow we have got enough about us to trouble them and not let them have too much trouble against us, because it's a vital game now. If we can get this win, obviously Al puts us 7 points and puts us in a healthy position going forward for Copenhagen. You'd think we'd be the overall favourites for that one at home, but our home form, who knows? We're getting deep into this. In a couple of weeks, we'll be 4 games in, won't we? We'll be halfway. And if we can be sitting with, let's say, 11 points, we're in a very good position. Absolutely.
Another player that we've been linked with, actually, in the Monaco team is Ansu Fati. Oh, do you remember that when Brighton signed him ahead of us? How bad you went.
Well, both of us did. You and me were doing the update.
Yeah.
We were doing the update saying Fati's coming to Spurs. We got
Gray instead, right?
I can't remember who. No, it was the season before Gray.
Was it? Who did we get instead?
I can't remember who it was, but I can remember you and me were doing the update. We were doing it for Fati. You had to go to your parents because your Wi-Fi mucked up. You got there. We started doing it. He's coming to Spurs. What can he add? And then you saw Romano, and you're like, and then obviously I went on a massive Levy tyrant. That was an entertaining day. But he hasn't really done much, has he? Since we're all saying, oh, we're going to get this Barcelona kid, but he's flattered to deceive, hasn't he?
Well, he done nothing at Brighton.
Yep.
He did nothing when going back to Barcelona the following year. However, this year, he's played 4 games for Monaco, scored 5 goals.
God damn it. God damn it.
So he's actually had a very good start to the season, Ansu Fati.
So we're going to have to nullify a few of them.
Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting.
And is he on Porro's side?
So in the last game, he actually played in... Where is it? I'm pretty sure I saw him playing in the number 10 position.
Oh, Paulinho can deal with him.
Paulinho will gobble him up,
exactly.
Surely. But, yeah, he played in the number 10. So they had Fati in the 10, Akalouche on the right, and Mika Bereth up front. And Mika Bereth, I mean, he caused a storm last year. He came in and scored loads of goals, and he's going through a bit of a dry spell at the moment. He's a guy that came through the Arsenal academy on the Arsenal ranks along with Florian Balogun. So they've got 2 ex-Gooners coming from the academy.
So there's 2 ex-strikers, 3 ex-Spurs targets, and could have been an ex-Spurs player in there. Oh, that's going to be interesting, isn't it?
And they've got the old West Ham centre-back in Kera, and the old Southampton centre-back in Salisu.
Bloody hell. Well, it's going to be an entertaining game.
Yeah, most definitely will be. Which I think, if we can win this game, it just stands us in such great stead, because I think our next 2 games after this is Copenhagen at home and Slavia Prague at home.
I believe it's definitely Copenhagen next. I think is it not Paris Saint-Germain next?
Let's have a look. So it's Copenhagen. Yeah, it's Copenhagen, then PSG, then Slavia Prague.
And then Dortmund to finish.
But you got to expect 6 points from Copenhagen and Slavia Prague. That's got to be 6 points.
Yeah.
No excuses.
Exactly.
PSG, you'd probably say, probably a loss.
Yep.
Dortmund, I think we can do something against.
We have a good record against Dortmund, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Recently,
A
in the
very good
Champions
record
League.
against Dortmund, but they're doing all right this season, Dortmund. But this game could be one of like the differentials, the difference makers.
Yeah.
If we can go tomorrow, go to Monaco and get that win, I think it stands us in really good stead to make that top 8.
And if we get those 6 points as well, it will show that point against Bodo could be very, very important in the grand schemes of qualifying and what position. And if we can go 4 games of the Champions League, 3 wins and a draw, like I said, confidence around the club, puts us in a very good position to get out of the group stage.
Yeah.
And then it will set us forward for the upcoming domestic schedule.
Yeah. But, you know, Monaco got their own worries, you know, only 1 point in the Champions League so far. They need a win.
Yep.
They desperately need a win in this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how they approach it. Are they going to approach it to stifle us? Are they going to kind of go front-footed and go on the attack? Like Monaco have only had this manager for a couple of games, so I don't think he's managed a Champions League game. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of way he sets up his team in a really, because this game is more pivotal to them. Because if they lose against us in this game, you know, that really puts a major dent in that
Yep.
Champions League group phase for them.
Yeah, it most certainly does. Taking 1 point from 9 will put them under enormous pressure. And obviously, like you said, the new manager starting his Champions League campaign, there'll be a lot of pressure on him. Can he handle it? We'll wait and see.
Put it this way, yeah, Monaco, after this, they go to Bodo Glimt away,
Okay.
which is a tough game.
Yep.
Then they got Galatasaray, and then they got Real Madrid.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
So you know what I mean? They need 3 points,
Yep.
desperate for it.
but they ain't getting them.
They ain't getting them.
They ain't
That's what I
getting
like,
them.
the confidence. They ain't getting them.
No way.
So what's your score prediction?
2-0 Tottenham.
2-0, clean sheet as
Clean
well.
sheet, get
What's
back
going on with the clean sheets, man? They've dried up.
Well, Kevin Danso at the back. I like I said, I will at any chance get to scream about my love for that guy. He's so dominant in the air. He's such a good deputy to come in for either Romero or Van der Ven. And when he's there, obviously we miss the qualities of Romero, but his defensive work is to be commended. So we get amongst the clean sheets tomorrow.
Yeah, I really
Yours?
hope so, man. I think we're going to draw tomorrow, you know.
Ben. Mike.
I think we're going to draw. I think it's going to be like 1-1.
Do you know what? I've become the sunshine of this channel. What a world are we living in where I've become the sunshine?
It's a great world.
It is. Loving it.
It's an absolutely beautiful world. Yeah, I just feel like it's going to be a really difficult game. I think Monaco, under a new manager, they're going to have, you know, a new lease of life about them after, you know, you lose your job, dodgy start. You know, they showed against Manchester City with the players that they got what they can do on the big occasion. And I think they're going to perform tomorrow, Monaco, and it's going to be up to Spurs to kind of override that, stamp our authority and show what we're really about. You know, it's not been going too good in terms of our general performance for Tottenham as of yet. You know, results haven't been too bad, but coming off the back of a loss, I do want to see Spurs put it right in this game. And if we win, I think it'll be massive for us.
Yep.
But a draw's not going to be the end of the world, but if we win, I think it just puts a big stamp of authority into the
I
group.
think you look at it as well. If it was to be a draw, but we saw a lot more creative play and a lot more ideas up top with free-flowing football, then I think people will look and say, you know what, there's been a change in the tactics. That looks more like it. But if it's a 1-1 draw and it's a performance like Aston Villa or Wolves, then obviously more talk will come out. But like I said, I have 100,000,000% faith, confidence, and belief in Frank, and he'll get the job done.
Me as well. I mean, I've got full faith in Thomas Frank, and I was saying this to Sim the other day. Like, everyone says they want to see ball progression through the middle. Everyone says they want to see free-flowing attacking football and all that kind of stuff. I have no doubt in my mind the football's going to come at some stage. I want to see results right now. I think the most important thing is results, just to keep us live, to keep us ticking, and to keep us up there. Like, I've seen people say, like, you know, I prefer to see a performance rather than a result right now, just to see us going in the right direction. But I'm the opposite way around. Like, I prefer to see the result than the performance, because I think the performance is a work in progress, and I think it will come at some point. And it will click at some point. I think at the moment it's not clicking. I think it's there for everyone to see, but it's still, 8 games into the Premier League campaign, 2 games into the Champions League campaign, 2 losses in all competitions, you know, such big games to come. I think it's just important just to keep results ticking over. And then the longer Frank has on the training ground with all the players and figures it all out, the performances will come.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to someone today on Twitter when I showed how Thomas Frank's attack did last season with obviously the 4 that he has. They're like, well, how long did that take? And I was like, well, do you want to go back further when he developed Ollie Watkins, and look what he did for Brentford, goal machine, went on to Villa, done what he did. Then Neil Maupay, who obviously away from Brentford hasn't done very well, but was incredible. Then he's had Ivan Toney. This guy, when he gets the right player in, or right players, and we'll develop them. He will develop them.
But it takes time. It's not. It's not just an instant thing, right?
Exactly.
You look at how long it took him to develop players like Mbeumo.
Correct.
How long it took him to develop players like Sade. You know, Sade didn't score for like a year before he went on that mad run last year, and now he's one of Brentford's most important players. Damsgaard as well. Like, there's so many kind of situations where it just takes time, right? Everyone wants a quick fix and for it to happen instantaneously. But I think it's impressive just in itself, just to get results, consistent results.
Correct. And as I say, we've looked at the moment, currently out of the team is 86 goal contributions from last season, and that's before I even include Brennan Johnson, who can't get a game at the moment apart from off the bench. You take that out of the team and then you replace them at the moment with Tel and Odobert and Richarlison, who, let's face it, haven't got the greatest return.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel it, but hopefully with if Mawani can get some more minutes in the second half, let's say, or whatever, and gets more minutes against Everton and starts getting regular minutes, and then Solanke comes back, then we're talking something different, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think if we win, it'll be a major result for us tomorrow. It'll be massive. It really would be. When we win tomorrow, let's say. When we win tomorrow, it'll be a major, major result for us. But if we draw, I don't think it's, you know, it's not the worst result in the world. Just don't lose tomorrow, Tottenham. But yeah, winning would be massive. Absolutely massive. So unfortunately, I do think it's going to be a draw. Brian is going for the win, so let's all go with Brian. Let's all go with Brian's prediction, and let's hope Spurs can win by 2-0. But that is your match preview. Let us know your score predictions in the comments section below. But let's go to Monaco and let's take all 3 points. And yeah, we owe them one anyway from the last Champions League. When what was it, 2015, I think. Didn't we lose 2-1 at home when Toby Alderweireld scored, I think it was, or was it 3-1? I can't remember.
I remember away, it was really not a good performance. It really, really wasn't a good performance away. But yeah, they're a team that had our number in the Champions League.
It was 2-1 home and 2-1 away. Yeah. So we've actually never won in Monaco.
There's a first for everything.
Played them in a club friendly in 2013, lost 5-2. 2015, we drew 1-1 there, with Lamela scoring in the first half. Maybe, I don't think so. El Shaarawy getting a late equaliser. And then in 2015, in the home leg, we won 4-1 with Lamela getting a hat-trick. Well, yeah, Lamela was a bit of a Monaco killer, wasn't he? El Shaarawy scoring that game as well, and Tom Carroll scoring with 10 minutes to go. And then in 2016, Monaco won 2-1 with Bernardo Silva and Thomas Lemar.
They had a wicked team, didn't they, that year? They had an insane team. Yeah,
they went 2-0 up at White Hart Lane. At Wembley, I think it was actually, and Toby Alderweireld scoring just before half-time. Eric Lamela assist.
Let's bring him back. Make the call.
Just for this game, man. Yeah, Eric Lamela, man.
Get him registered.
And then the last time out was 2-1 away defeat, where Sidibe and Thomas Lemar scored. Harry Kane scored a penalty for us. I think that's the game I went to. And Ramadel Falcao missed a penalty after the first 10 minutes of the game. So look, that is our match preview. We'll be here for the watch long tomorrow. Myself and Sim not making the trip out to Monaco, unfortunately, to come and tune in just before 8 o'clock. But now it is time to get on to the predicted 11 going out to Monaco tomorrow, 8 o'clock kickoff. team news is in, but not officially in yet because Thomas Frank's press conference is a bit later. But what's the team news, Brian?
Well, thankfully it's just injuries, not just injuries. It's no suspensions. We've got James Maddison, obviously the long-term ones. James Maddison, Kulusevski, Dragusin is obviously back in training but not ready. Dominic Solanke is still recovering from his surgery. Romero and Destiny have not trained. So we've put as doubts because you just don't know. There might be a curveball.
Yeah.
But highly unlikely to see Romero or Destiny.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is the team news. I think it's a big kick in the teeth, this Romero injury and the Udogie injury, both of them, because I think Romero hurts us so much when he doesn't play in terms of ball progression, and I think Udogie offers us so much more going forward than Jed as well. However, Jed, I think, a lot more solid the other way. So you get a bit of give and take with Udogie and Spence. But anyway, let's get into this predicted lineup.
Let's do it.
4-3-3. We're predicting as per usual. In goal, is there a case for Kinski to start this game, or do we think Vicario comes straight back in?
Do you know what? I think it's 2-2. I think Vicario has got this game and Everton. And if there's more mishaps, let's say, or more clangers, that are definitely him. If Kinski has a very good game at Newcastle, then I think there's a conversation. I think this may be too soon for Kinski.
I agree. I mean, did you see the article on Football London a few days ago saying that they're disappointed in the development of Kinski, and they felt like since he's come out of the team at the back end of last season, his development has regressed?
I hadn't seen that. That's worrying. That is worrying. Obviously, Vicario as well. Do you know what? Me and Iggy were doing the watch along, and I thought for the first goal, a lot of people saying that he was completely at fault. I saw people saying his positioning. I think that kind of knuckle shot. I didn't put as much blame on Vicario as I did other goals or other people were. But I think Champions League, I mean, he needs a big game, doesn't he? I mean, we hope he has a very, very quiet game. But if he needs to be on his tip-top best for the next couple of games, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, Vicario, we're putting in goal. Right back, I think it's pretty simple, Pedro Porro.
Yeah, I think the whole defence is pretty simple. It picks itself, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, Pedro Porro, right back.
Yep.
Right centre-back has got to be your favourite player, big Kevin Danso.
Super Kevin Danso.
And yeah, Kevin Danso started the last Champions League game, didn't he, out in Bodo? He started the last Premier League game. I think the thing is, Kevin Danso, you know what you're going to get with him. You're going to get hard man defending, really good in the air, but I think sometimes he lets himself down with his playing out the back. Yeah,
I mean, if you look at it, I think that's the part that Romero obviously excels in, and it's very, very evident when Romero's not there. But I sometimes think, especially when you've got someone like Van der Ven, a more cultured defender, sometimes I think some of the best partnerships were like Ferdinand and Vidic, where you got the one elegant ball-playing one and the one hard as nails, take no prisoner. And for me, that's Kevin Danso. I don't think there's been a single game where he's been played for us where he's let us down at any point. And do you know what? His dominance in the air is outstanding.
As a pure defender, yeah, you're right. Like, I think he's brilliant for us, but I think in the modern game you need a bit more than that.
That could develop. I mean, you look at him, I think, I said to you yesterday after you finished that I would have given Kevin Danso a minimum 7 or 8 against Villa. You both gave him a 6, I think. I get that obviously being able to be a defender and playing with the ball now is vital in modern day football. But sometimes you just need that rock to just, if the pressure's there, just deal with it, get it out. And yeah, sometimes his passing is a little bit lacklustre, but there's room for development there. And what we need him to do is defend, and at that he is brilliant, in my opinion.
All right, so that's Kevin Danso at right centre-back. Left centre-back, obviously, is going to be the ever-reliable Mickey Van der Ven, which, probably be captain on the day as well, was captain on the weekend. And, he's been brilliant this season once again, hasn't he?
Yep. I mean, when it comes to him, obviously, there was a lot of talk, wasn't it? If playing this not as high line, is Mickey as good as a defender when he hasn't got to use his pace all the time to get us out of jail? I think he's been magnificent this season. I think he has shown...
Rolls Royce, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's shown that he can defend just as well without using his pace as he does with it. I would say him, Kudus and Paulinho have been the standout players this season by a country mile. and another great performance coming in from him.
Absolutely. And then to make up that back four, we're going to go for Jed Spence at left back. Jed, I think he needs to work on building those relationships a bit better with the forward line. I still think, he's performing well. I can't say a game where he hasn't performed well. I think, he always gives you that good level of performance. Defensively, nothing really gets past him. But I think, like, the offensive side of the game, he just needs to add a bit more tools to his armoury.
Yeah, I mean, the difference we see with Spence compared to Destiny, because of obviously being a natural left footer, when he's there, especially with Odebear, he just hasn't got that sense to overlap or the quality on his left foot to deliver. Defensively, he's razor sharp, isn't he? Very, very few get the better of him defensively, and he brings the ball out well. But it's just frustration, obviously, when he does go on runs and then he has to check back in onto his right foot and slow the game down. But defensively, you can't fault him.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the back four we're going for. So obviously Vicario in goal with Pedro Porro right back, Jed Spence left back with Dan So and Mickey van der Ven as the centre-back pairing. And the midfield is where it gets a bit interesting. Obviously, in the last game, he favoured Paulinho and Bentancur as the deeper players. Do you feel they both start again? Do you feel he only goes with one of them, or what are you thinking?
This is where it gets, like I said, this is where it gets interesting, because again, you've got to take into consideration what's he going to do with Kudus and Simmons.
Yeah.
And it's when you go into this game now, what do you think we're looking at more? Do we want that defensive solidity, or do we want that creativity and don't want to have a slow come out the gates? And does he do one creator, two? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm undecided. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Paulinho and Bentancur in this game. An away game in the Champions League, you need to have your wits about you. He seems to love Bentancur, but he seems to love Paulinho as well. But also, like, at opportunities given, he has given Paulinho a rest. I think in this game he should stick with Paulinho. I would like to see Paulinho with Sarr alongside him. That's what I would like to see. That's
what I wanted to see on Sunday. I think Paulinho, for what he offers and what he does, and like you saw against Villa, his work rate and attention to danger and alertness, I actually think Paulinho is undroppable. I really do. You could see how much he offers and how much we missed that type of player in recent seasons. I think no matter what, you have to start in the big games with Paulinho. So he's definitely...
All right, so we'll go Paulinho in the middle there. So alongside him, are we going to go... So we probably should have gone for a 4-2-3-1 actually instead of a 4...
Can you change it now, or does it mess it all up?
Don't worry, we changed it there.
Oh, look at that.
So we're going to go alongside Paulinho. It's basically one of Sarr, Bentancur, Gray, Bergvall.
Yeah, I think it's too early for Gray in the Champions League. Although I think Gray definitely starts at Newcastle, or I hope he does. This one, I would start. I would want Sarr. I think it's between Sarr and Bentancur.
I've got a feeling he goes with Pape in a view for Bentancur coming back in against Everton on the weekend. Yeah. However, I might prefer it to be the other way around, with Bentancur playing this game and Sarr playing at Everton.
Well, we've got to find our way to do it in the Premier League, haven't we? And you've got to remember, Premier League away form, is he going to change it when it's been so successful in the Premier League? I think it will go Paulinho and Bentancur in the Premier League to keep that away record going.
All right, so we go Pape.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll go Pape alongside João Paulinho. And I'm assuming, like, in the 10, we stick with Xavi Simons?
Got to. And hopefully the Champions League environment, and he can have a very, very productive and game that could hopefully spark a run of very, very good form, because he just looked lost. Because we couldn't get the ball to him on Sunday, we need to find... We've bought this guy to be the creator and unlock things, and we can't get him to unlock things unless we get the ball to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he keeps trying to come deep and in search of the ball, and It's just not working for him at this moment in time, and he needs to just find that spark. And once he finds that spark, and he can't just do it by himself, it's a team effort.
Yep.
But once he finds it, I think there's going to be no looking back from Javi's team. The guy's got so much quality about him,
Yep.
and you saw it when he came on in that Brighton game, right?
Yep. I mean, that game when people were going mad that he was coming off the bench, I kind of understood it. And to have that kind of calibre of play to come on the bench and influence the game is massive. Like we were looking at Villa on Sunday with Bundia and Watkins.
Yeah.
So he came on and you saw in that little cameo, he could have had a couple of goals as well, couldn't he? He, when he's in that kind of mood, can be absolutely outstanding and a massive part of what we do. And like I said, I've got no doubt when he gets that one game where that kind of eureka moment, then there's no looking back, like you said.
So Xavi in the 10. Let's start off with the number 9. I think Richarlison's nailed on to start this game. I think Moani's probably not ready yet, albeit it's a league that Moani knows well, obviously with his time at PSG. Tell obviously can't play, who's been number 9 in the last couple of games. So Richarlison's got to play.
Richarlison's got to play, and I tell you what, Richarlison's got to get amongst the goals, hasn't he? Because when
amongst the performances, man, because you remember in the first couple of games of the season, like that Burnley game is the best I've ever seen Richarlison in a Spurs shirt, you know.
And Man City.
Man City, you know, he was dropping deep, he was linking up the play, he was holding up the play better than I've ever seen him do it. And ever since then, he just hasn't done the same.
And PSG he was great.
Yeah, those 3 games.
He was fantastic. But yeah, I think the worrying thing is the Wolves game that we were at, Leeds, when he came on, and as I saw with you with the Villa game, when he comes off the bench, I can't remember a single thing he's actually done.
Yeah.
And that's not good. So I think it's vital that he gets amongst the goals tomorrow and puts in a performance like the first 3 games of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's more important for me that he has a good performance as opposed to getting a goal. Like, just have a good performance, you know. Don't be invisible. Like, the last couple of games, he's just been invisible.
Yep.
Barely got a touch, barely getting involved, not putting himself about. A ghost.
Do you think when Moani has had some more minutes and is ready to start, do you reckon we'd get more out of Richie on the left, like we were doing in Europe, rather than a Tell and Odebear? Do you reckon with his experience, and he has played off that left side, do you reckon, let's say now a Richarlison-Odebear partnership isn't going to be as successful as, let's say, a Moani and Richarlison on the left?
I would say so. Yeah, I would prefer... Yeah, I probably would prefer to see Richarlison on the left and Moani up top. A fit Moani, not in this game. But then maybe an Odebear and Richarlison. However, I think Odebear has been, you know, getting better and better. I think he's come under a lot of criticism, but I feel like he's starting to show his worth a little bit.
George obviously came on the fan show and spoke and say that what he was saying about Odebear play. Well, I get what he said. We were, because Kudus was heavily marked, we were getting the ball out to Odebear, and it looks like his confidence at taking men on and running with the ball is definitely improving and getting better. It's just that final ball, that decision making. We had that one that's been shown so many times on Twitter where I think it was Tell or Odebear running there and Simmons is in that space, and then it's Tell, and then we just lose the ball. His decision making's just got to get better. But he does look like, out of the Tell and Odebear too, he looks like he's gaining more confidence and more belief in himself and more comfortable in his surroundings. But yeah, Odebear, it's just that final decision.
Well, let's go to the left-hand side of the attack then. I think he's pretty much the only option for us, isn't he?
Or Johnson.
Or Brennan. I mean, since Brennan came out of the team playing on the left, he hasn't played Brennan on the left once. He played him on the right against Doncaster. He doesn't fancy Brennan at all.
No, then he played Brennan Johnson at left wing back for the last part to try and get his pace and more players forward.
But I think it's got to be Odebear on the left.
I agree with you, but I think Brennan Johnson could appear off the bench off the left.
Potentially. Is there no case for Brennan Johnson to start on the right wing instead of Mohamed Kudus?
Well, do you know what? I think actually there could be. And the only reason I say there could be is obviously Kudus did very well for Ghana, helping them qualify for the World Cup. That massive long travel. Then you could see at the end of the Villa game, he looked wary. So could there be
I worry for us, though, if Kudus don't start this game.
But no, if Kudus on the bench and we need some quality brought on, and Monaco are tiring, that could be a very valuable asset.
It's true, but also Brendan Johnson's pretty good off the bench against tiring legs.
Yeah, but think about it, he hasn't had any minutes whatsoever apart from coming off the bench. Do you know what? With this one, obviously we'd all prefer Kudus. We'd all prefer Kudus, and Kudus is the number one right winger. But if we're looking at it, we're going for a period this international break where it literally is played twice a week until the international break. So he's going to be doing some rotation. Is this game a game where he puts Brennan back on the right? I think that, do you know what? I think this conversation is where we were talking about Sarr. I think this one might be closer than we think. I think there's a debate for both.
I agree.
I think there's a real debate.
The thing is, I kind of get the feeling that Brennan Johnson might actually start, but I just really don't want him to start, and I really want to see Kudus start.
You know what? You know what happened? Brennan Johnson will start, far post. In it
Johnson
goes.
again, ole ole.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if that happens, happy days.
Exactly. Should we go, Brennan? Should we throw a curveball?
Come on, man.
Because you've got to look at it, and everyone watching. I don't know how many people are watching us right now, but
I just really want to see Kudus play.
no,
man.
we really want to see Kudus play. But again, we're getting to that point of the season where there are a lot of games coming.
Yeah.
The injuries have been stacking up.
Yeah.
He looked wary after international duty. There's going to be a time during this period where he's going to rest some of the stars.
Yeah.
And Kudus, maybe this is the opportunity to do so. Because obviously you bring him on the bench if it's not working. I know there'll be a lot of talk in the comments for this, but I think this one is a real close call. But not because they're close players skill-wise. I think rotation, rest, and having Kudus off the bench might be an ace up his sleeve. Might be a secret weapon.
He did rest Kudus in the last Champions League game as well, and came on, obviously, changed the game. But look, let's go Brennan then. Brennan on the right-hand side. So that is our predicted lineup going into the game at Monaco tomorrow night. It is Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro right back, Jed Spence at left back, a back two of Kevin Danso and Mickey van der Ven, Pat Matissar and João Palhinha just below Javi Simons, Brennan Johnson on the right,
Ole.
Wilson Odobert on the left, and Richarlison up top. You see, that forward line doesn't fill me with much confidence. That's the only problem.
Well, let's face it, the forward line that starts at Aston Villa, apart from Kudus, did it fill you with much confidence?
No. It's just where we're at right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just, like we were saying, Thomas Frank has got to find ways to get this attacking line-up firing.
Yeah.
Not saying that Brendan Johnson is the key to everything, but maybe this will help. Maybe this will get things going. Maybe this will give Spurs some different options. We will have to wait and see. But who knows? Who knows? I mean, Richarlison can get amongst the goals.
Can.
Odobert obviously hasn't really got...
Richarlison, Brennan and Javi all got a goal in them, for sure. Yep. They do, and Pat Matissar does as well. We've seen João Palhinha even does.
Yep. So there's goals in there.
There's goals, but the only problem is that actually for Tottenham, how many goals have they all got between? I guess Brennan and Richarlison have scored a fair amount.
Brendan Johnson's probably got more than that team combined last season. That's where we are. But let's see if he mixes it up. But with that, you've got to remember with Sarr's energy as well on drive, that's going to cause mayhem hopefully for Monaco. We shall see. I wonder what are the chat saying about the Johnson decision.
They said that that you're a bad influence on me.
I'm a bad influence.
That's what they say.
How am I a bad influence?
Because you're influencing me to pick Brennan.
Well, no, like I said, don't get me wrong. Who would I rather see playing? They're Kudus.
Yeah.
Who's the better player?
No,
Kudus.
I understand, yeah.
There's no doubt that I'd rather see Kudus, but we have to realise now, and we keep talking about this injuries and the injury list that's piling up at the moment, the way we're going to get around this and keep players fit is by rotation, is by keeping players fresh. And then you look at Everton, Newcastle, Chelsea. I can't see Kudus getting a rest anywhere there.
Bergvall a bit unlucky to miss out on this team because, you know, he's been having a really good season so far. Didn't get I mean, he came on, didn't he? But hasn't been in the starting lineup for a couple of games now.
No, I mean, you look at it, that whole midfield, I mean, Sarr started the season on fire.
Yeah.
And then obviously he had his little knock or precaution, then he couldn't get back into the team. Bergvall has done well when he's played. He needs to find the answer to this midfield too, doesn't he? He needs to find the answer, and the only way he's going to find it is by experimenting.
Yeah, very true. But look, that is your predicted lineup. That is your match preview. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Super chats, I don't think there was any.
Some members chats and everything.
Chris Kavanagh, big up to you, my friend. You sent 10 We Are Tottenham TV memberships. You gifted out 10 We Are Tottenham TV memberships. So big up to you, Mr. Chris Kavanagh. But now that is all we have for you guys today. I want to thank Mr. Brian Daigle for joining me, the bad influence, for bad influencing me all day in the studio today. But we'll be back in the studio tomorrow for the watch along. Pre-match pump up will be at its usual time, an hour and a half before kickoff. We'll be going live at 7:45, and then it is obviously the post-match fan show, where it is your chance to have your say straight after the final whistle tomorrow. So let's hope for 3 points. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.